Hi, boys and girls. You've probably been wondering who Mrs. Greene's mystery person was this week and who could juggle. And just so you know, it's actually me. It's Dr. Rush. So anyway, I wanted to get this video out there. I'm down in South Carolina and I'm visiting my father. And so I just want to take a few minutes, do this video and show you that I can juggle, and then show you a couple tricks about juggling maybe, so in case you ever want to learn how to juggle, you can do it yourself. It's not that difficult. It really just comes down to practice and knowing a couple things to do to kind of make it work. So this is me juggling. I am not the greatest juggler by any means. I can do it, and I can juggle a couple different ways. I can throw one ball over the other two. I can do basic juggling. I can do high juggling. I can do low juggling. And the tricky part is always catching what you're juggling. And so, got it. That's me juggling. But if you want to learn how to juggle yourself, you may want to know a couple tricks. A couple of the tricks are that you need to be able to juggle two items with one hand. And that's actually more difficult than regular juggling. So I'm going to try it right now. So if I drop one of these, just know that this is actually the more difficult part. But I'm going to keep going just because, like I said, I'm not the greatest juggler, and sometimes I do drop what I'm juggling. So that's why I try to be real careful when I do it. So that's juggling two items with one hand. Then if you can do it with, in my case, your right hand, then you want to be able to do it with your left hand. And this is even more difficult for me because I'm right-handed. So I'm going to try this, and like I said, it's a good chance I might drop one of these, but I'm going to try it, okay? And like I said, I dropped it, but I can kind of do it. But that's kind of the trick. So once you can juggle two things in one hand, then you go to three things in two hands. You don't have to be perfect, and like I said, it's actually easier to juggle this way than two items in one hand. But that's how you kind of have to start. You have to get used to throwing two items with one hand. And the other key piece, the other trick to know, is you have to be able to have a consistent toss. So when you're tossing whatever you're juggling, you have to be able to throw it and know where it's going to go. So that way, you know what to expect. So you have to practice throwing and catching very carefully. And this is actually not that easy to do either. But with practice, you can do it. You have to be able to juggle two things with one hand and with the other hand. And then that comes down to being able to do most of the items you need, or most of the things you need to do for juggling. So, one last example of just plain old juggling. And before you do this, make sure you get your parents' permission, because that's important, because sometimes, as you've seen with even me, who I've been juggling for years, sometimes whatever you're juggling might go flying. And that can cause issues at home. So you want to be very, very careful with what you juggle, and you want to get your parents' permission, and you want to do it in a safe place so that you don't break anything or you don't have any problems. So, hope that everybody's having a good spring break. I will see you next Monday, and when we get back, if you want to talk juggling with me, I'll be happy to talk with you. So, enjoy the rest of your spring break, and I'll see you next week.